make these longhorns on the Mini Highland cow, you will need the Mini Highland cow pattern first, but this is what we do. Make it completely the same until you get to the horns. And then we're going to push this one loop through, just like this, right where you would normally put the little horns. And that's on the pattern as well, like where to put them. And then you'll want to turn it around and push another loop through. It can be the same hole, just don't pull out your other loop, just like this. So you have two loops facing each other. And you'll want to leave a little bit of a tail out that back when you first start so that we can tie off. But what we're going to do is knit two, like one in the first one in the second one. We're going to do that 5 times. So that's 10 total knits up. And you can turn it, you don't have to turn it, but just try to go in the middle, like push your yarn through in the middle, just like this, and then knit back and forth. So sometimes I move my working yarn back and forth, sometimes I don't. It just depends on how the yarn feels. But this is kind of what we're doing to make that base of the longhorn horn coming out. And that will make it more sturdy. Just the 2 loops coming in, just like this. Okay, and I'm just making sure that it's going the way it should, adjusting. And I always have to adjust my yarn just to make sure it goes the way that I want it to go. And I feel like as you're doing it, if you adjust it, it stays where you want it to stay a little bit better. After this 5th time of going back and forth, you'll want to adjust, like I said, and just make sure it looks correct the way that you want it to look. I want it to kind of come out from the head, like straight out the side from the head, and then kind of curve up. I know longhorns can go all different directions, but that's kind of how I want it to go. You'll knit 1, and then what you'll do is you'll squish these 2 together, just like this. Bring your working yarn around the back for that next knit, and you're going to basically decrease, and so you only have 1 working loop now. And just make sure it looks pretty good. You're going to knit 2 more after that. There's 1, there's 2, and then you'll cut your working yarn end pretty far out, so about 10 to 12 inches, because we're going to weave this back and forth through the horn to make it more sturdy. So go through the back of that last loop that you had, pull it a little bit tight so you kind of make a little point on the end there, and then go into the back and through in the next loop down. And I kind of want that point on there so you don't pull it too tight. Then go to the next loop down in the horn there, and go in the back and through the front. And you bring it around the back and through the front again of the next hole down. And it's kind of that center hole, just like this. And that kind of makes it, if you go around the top, it makes it curve up just a little bit. Then once you get to where we have 2 loops, it's a little bit thicker. Right here, you can go in the front and kind of down one hole, and then in the back down 1 hole. You're just kind of weaving this back and forth into the horn all the way through, and I'm kind of feeling where that next hole is, and I push it through both of those loops that we made. So all the way through the little horn, all the way through, all the way through. And then on this last one, I'm feeling for this last one right here, sorry, feeling for where I put the horn into the head, and I'm pulling it all the way through underneath into the head, into that darker part. And then you can tie your ends. I double knot, and then you can tuck right inside the head. And if you need to trim your yarn a little bit, you can. My head's not very, it's stuffed, but it's, you know, it can take some more, so I just stuff that right in there. I feel like the longer the tails are, the better it stays in there. So adjust, and there's 1 horn. And we'll do the next one just so you can hear it again. Okay, on to the next horn. Where you pull up the loops, it does matter. I'm just doing it in the top of the head right above the ear. And also I try to make the tail end of where I'm pulling it up go out the back so that I can tie off in the back and tuck in. And I'm looking for kind of a horizontal loop there. I wanted it more towards the front, but I didn't have one. So that tail end goes towards the back. And then I do want a tail on there, so you want to pull that out a little bit, just like this. And then you will make that one loop and then turn it around and make the other loop. And I had to go in to that same loop. So what I'm going to do is push it into that same hole and pull it up right where it's coming out, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm pushing it in the same hole, but I want to keep that loop back there so you kind of hold on to it. So there's your 2 loops to start, and then you will knit back and forth. There's 1, 2, 1, 2. We'll do that 5 times for 10 total knits. Okay, and so this is our 5th back and forth, just like this. And you'll want to adjust and make sure it looks correct. If we got to do it over, right? And then you will knit 1 in the front and then squish these 2 together. Kind of move your working yarn off to the side, just like this. And then squish these together and bring it around back and push through to make 1 loop. And that decreases your loops to 1 and also makes it a little bit smaller at the end so it can curve up. Then you will knit 2. My cow wanted to go everywhere. And then you will cut your working yarn to about 10 to 12 inches, whatever you feel comfortable working with. That's probably like 15, honestly. I'm really bad at judging here, and I did not measure. So pull through the back and pull kind of tight. And that kind of knots it at the end anyway, so it won't come unraveled. Go around the top, and sometimes you have to guide it just like this. And not too tight on this one because then it'll round out your point. And then go around the top, and in the next hole down, there's that hole, and then the next hole. Sometimes they're not right in the middle, just you kind of got to find it. And that's going to kind of, if you go around the top, it kind of brings it up to where that end of the horn curves up, and that's kind of what we want. And this will make it more stable with more yarn in there. But try not, we're trying not to make it too heavy, of course, so it doesn't fall down. And I want it to curve up. And so right here, that's the end of those one knits. So now we're going into the 2 knits, and you can go in the front and out the back, and in the back and out the front, down at the next hole. And we're just weaving this right back down to the actual head. And this one, I try to find where I put into the head and go clear through and out through the back, just like this. And then we can adjust our yarn and our horns, make sure they're going up. And then you can tie off in the back, do a double knot really tight, especially if it's for a kid, of course. And like I said, the longer the tail ends, I feel like, the more it's going to stay in that head. Because if they're super short tail ends, they are going to, like, that's about as short as I'll go right there. If they're super short, that knot is just going to pop right out of that head. Just like that. And there are your longhorn horns. So if you do not have the Mini Highland pattern, grab that on my site or on my Etsy and you can make this little mini longhorn.